another story for another day.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
Hold on.
Making sure that I can get on here really quick.
Can they hear us?
Mhm.
How do you know?
I'm smart.
I'm smart.
You're smart. Yes, you are. I agree.
Okay.
Otherwise,
I have joined. Wait.
sweet.
Let me. Okay. Move a little closer. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Hello. Hi, guys. We're here.
Hello, everybody. I'm trying to behave.
It's hard. It's hard for him. So bear with us, okay? All right. I was just making sure that I have this here, so that way we can answer any questions that you guys might have. But for any of you that are new and haven't seen my face around, I am Dr. Dale's wife. I'm Anna.
It's the wild duck's wife.
I'm the wild wife. And, okay. We wanted to jump on really quick and talk about kids' health.
Yep. We had somebody ask me on one of my prior lives here recently about just kind of what do we do for kids' health, and then we'll do some more in-depth with research and things like that to support our reasons why, but we just kind of wanted to go through with some applicable things, like what do we do? What do we have sitting, you know, in our little, we have like a little shelf that's like pull out, has our Vitamix right there for our smoothies. It's kind of like our smoothie
It's our
station.
Coffee smoothie station.
And like never is there coffee there
No.
except for the storage.
It's always on the counter.
It's literally just herbs and our supplements. So things like that. And really it's more herbs, really.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so if we're going to go through some of these applicable things, what
Yeah.
we do, what our kids have, in essence, I'd rather say like, what do our kids have access to?
Yes.
And first and foremost, they even said we're talking about stuff. I'm like, no, I want to talk about what my kids have access to. My kids have access to apples all day long. All right, they have access, like they can open the refrigerator door, the bottom pull-out drawer, apples. Just keep tons and tons of apples stored for your kids.
An apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Yeah, I mean,
They're organic.
I slept with apple core underneath my pillow one night because Ren, our baby, who's not even 2, ate an apple in bed while we were trying to get her down for night-night.
Yep.
So.
And she's savage. She will not go to bed. If she's got something in her hands, she's taking it with her.
Yep.
She's going down with it.
So I'm like, just chew on your apple.
Yes.
Then I slept on it.
Yes. I think at one point in time she actually went to bed with one of the droppers, like the like one of these bottles. It was closed, of course, but she had to have it.
She loves to handle them herself.
Yes. But anyways, yeah, so this is just going to be like a really short video, kind of like our go-to supplements for our kids, our go-to, like whenever they're sick or, you know, not sick, I don't want to say that, mounting an immune response.
Which really isn't that common.
No,
you know,
it's really not.
What I would almost like, here's clarity on this, what I tell people is, you know, we're not going to be here sitting here saying that our kids never get sick. No, our kids, I want my children to actually fight off an infection.
Absolutely.
At least once a year and know that they have a healthy, strong immune response. And the reality is you either have an extremely weak immune response, therefore you can't mount a proper immune response, having that fever, having those physiological adaptive symptoms. Those are necessary, those are beneficial. They're beneficial for detoxification, clearing your lymph system, all kinds of beneficial effects. I mean, through history, measles was touted as like the cure. Right. Children would get measles and be the cure for things like asthma and allergies and even some signs of autoimmunity. And I'll go through that in a future video where they talk about how the antibodies are cleared by measles and medicine thinks it's bad, but it actually is a really good thing. And
well, that's kind of like how, like, yeah, just a
you want your kids
just to jump down that rabbit hole with you for a second. That's like fevers, like, and people getting so fearful of fevers. But and I have people that, well, my daughter, my son, or whatever, they've got a fever right now, and it's kind of high. It's 102 or whatever. And not that we want to diminish the feelings of the mom or dad, because those are, you know, those are true feelings that any parent feels. But also, like, I'm like, let's just put a spin on that. And instead of being fearful of the fact that we have a fever or your child has a fever, let's put a spin on that for the positive and say, my child's body, since whenever you get a fever, it fights cancer cells that are growing in our body every single day.
Yep.
So how cool is that? My kid's got a fever and their body is fighting cancer. That's kind of awesome.
The function of your immune system is far stronger and healthier when you have a higher temperature. And in fact, the studies on 104 temperature, 104, there was no mortality rate for severe infected individuals. And those who could not mount an immune response strong enough to bring their temperature up to, I think it was like 38 degrees Celsius, which is around like 90, is high 90s, low 100. You know, do the math on it, Celsius. I don't know who uses that and why, but anyway.
I think we're the oddballs out on.
Yeah. But the reality is, you know, like I've even sat there and, you know, laying in bed, cuddling, making sure that Amos is doing well, you know, and just that one, parents, it's a time to bond with your children.
Yeah.
When they are fighting something, it's time to be there and bond with your children. You'll never get those moments back. And just there's a blessing and take pleasure and joy in that moment of my son Amos laying on my chest when he had chicken pox and had a high fever. But when Amos was old enough to understand what was going on in his body, I explained to them that this is God's design for his system in his body to be able to fight the infection off, and it helps build his immune system up so that when his body becomes exposed to toxins in the future and things that could cause cancer cells, we want him to have an extremely strong and healthy immune system that he can kill off those cancer cells at early stages, not progress into something, God forbid. You know, so we pray and we thank God for the fever, you know, and we never measure it. We don't have a thermometer in our home. We don't care, because the only time that thermal regulation.
That was a bad term.
I don't care what the temperature is as long as it's.
It's not that we don't care that they're sick.
We care about our kids, but I don't care about the temperature, because the temperature doesn't matter.
We're not fearful of the
like,
temperature.
The higher it went, I'd be like, yay, it's awesome. You know, it's head trauma.
We assist, not
really,
resist.
The only time is like heat stroke and head trauma. What?
We assist, not resist.
We assist, not resist the fever. Good job, babe.
I know.
Good job. I just wanted to say that I'll crawl down any rabbit hole you want to.
Okay.
With me.
All right, moving on to supplements.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get started so that way we're not taking up too much of people's time. All right. So one of the main ones that our kids love is this elderberry, and shout out to this dude who formulated it. So that's kind of cool.
Will you reward me tonight?
We're sticking to supplements.
Okay. We got 3 kids. It's reasonable.
Yes. But anyways, they love elderberry. They love elderberry. That's something that we always say that they're like little baby birds. They're like more and more, and we just drop it in their mouth, baby bird style. And we have our own little baby bird.
Little wren.
But so this is one of our go-tos. Like almost, I wouldn't say that they necessarily take it daily, but you know,
it's
maybe
one on the regular that we have available
hand.
that when they want supplements, and we use supplements oftentimes, our herbs are more like treats to them.
Yeah.
They enjoy taking them. It's part of our lifestyle. At times, you know, again, if we feel like they might be mounting immune response, or like through the summers, we are doing more astragalus to just feed their bone marrow, help and assist for immune responses necessary for things like Lyme. We live on a farm. We have dogs. We have a mini pig, a donkey, and 2 Highland cows. So, and we love running around in the woods. And, you know, California can take note of this. You can actually help control tick populations with fire. So I burnt part of our field and stuff off, but rabbit hole. But again, the reality is control it, but you're not going to get away from it. So let's make sure that our immune system is strong enough that when we do get bit by a tick, all right, we're going to be able to mount a proper immune response that will be able to clear that issue if, God forbid, Rocky Mountain spider fever or Lyme's disease and things like that. The majority of people can fight that off. Now, again, there are, God forbid, those situations when you do have somebody hit with severe Rocky Mountain fever or Lyme's disease, and we can help to recover those people. But, you know, I know the environment they're going to be in, so I want to support their system to live healthy and play freely in that environment.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so another fan favorite in our house is this Forest Folk fungi, the chocolate chaga.
Yep.
Actually, I love it too. We put it in our coffee in the mornings, and it's delicious. But also, the kids love it. They're like, the chocolate one, the chocolate one.
Yeah. Chocolate's like a shuttle. It helps move the compounds and medicinal compounds into the system and into the body. They help improve absorption. Coffee can too, if you're not so much for coffee. Chocolate is a great way, and actually the cacao bean is phenomenal. It's really a superfood, very high antioxidants, great mineral source as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And chaga is really good for DNA repair, high antioxidant capacity. It's antiviral in nature. It has immunoadaptation properties as well, so that's why I love it.
Yep. So another one that we keep on hand, and this is not something that we take all the time, or our kids take all the time, but it's a DHA, like a fish oil for kids. It's chewable. It doesn't taste gross.
Yeah, tastes like if you took
like
a salmon
berries.
and blended it together with berries.
That sounds awful. So poor analogy, but it was
So
a
you
good,
can make your
solid
own
effort.
smoothies if you don't want to take a supplement.
Yeah. But anyways, not something that our kids take all the time, but it's great for like
Kidding.
their brain, and especially
Yes.
if they're not.
Kids
There's
have-
so many things that are
Yeah.
beneficial of fish.
Healthy fat,
Healthy
healthy
fats.
cholesterol are extremely essential for brain development,
Yeah.
cognitive improvement. I've seen kids as simple as like struggling with memory and spelling, and we suggest healthy fats, whether it be from other healthy animal products like grass-fed butter to fish oils,
Avocado.
eating sardines, which, yeah, have fun with that with your kids. But the reality is, you get those healthy fats into their system, and guess what? Their brain works better, and they can memorize, and they do better in school, and the parents are just like, whoa!
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
amazing. But yesterday, Amos took the skin off my salmon,
Yes. Our
Filet
kids would rather
and
eat the
hate.
skin off of fish, off of
and
our
I love the
salmon,
skin.
than eat the salmon itself. Which I'm like, props to you, dude, because
Yeah, because
I
the skin
don't
has
like
more of
it.
the healthy fats in it.
yes, it's better for you. The skin's much better for you than the
It's
actual.
kind of like the skin on an apple,
Right.
skin on a salmon.
But I can't do it. But man, do our kids love it? So
Yeah.
I
Start
tried
your
to.
kids
I'm
early.
like, y'all can have mine.
Yeah.
It's so amazing that you
And then we
guys
fight
love
over
it. And then I turn my head and I'm like, so gross. But I don't want them to know that I think it's gross because it's healthy. It's kind of like
Get their palates formed early.
yes.
And actually, an interesting tip. Did you know that many of the palate forms in utero? So
Yeah.
moms, if you're pregnant, what you eat now can actually determine, I don't care if you hate asparagus, if you hate Brussels sprouts, guess what? If you eat Brussels sprouts while you're pregnant, your children are more likely to like Brussels
Who
sprouts.
doesn't like Brussels sprouts?
No. Nice roasted, just a little bit of crisp to the outer.
It's a little bit of drizzle of like balsamic. Anyways, I'm getting hungry.
Garlic
Let's move on.
minced on it.
But in regards to food, though, dinner time, we have two that we use at dinner time. And again,
Go grab
not
our Oregon
always.
grape. We'll do that on occasion. I think we're out of the bottle at home actually right now. Oregon grape.
We don't always do this. I mean, you know, just like anything else, like we forget. We don't. It's not our go-to, but there are things that we try to do, and one is the ion gut
Biome.
biome,
Gut health.
whatever.
So we have the larger bottle for the family. We all take a drink or so.
We just take
of
a
it,
swig
you
at
know.
dinner.
You know, and again, we've done stool testing. We have not done stool testing for our kids. Our kids, I mean, I have pictures of my kids' poop because it's just like, it's glorious. It's just amazing. It's like a
It's
pretzel
slightly
formed log that sinks. Therefore, he's absorbing healthy fats in his GI, and it's well broken down. So I know my kids don't have digestive system problems. One, they had a beautiful, wonderful mother who breastfed them. So that's really where a lot of their strong immune systems come from. Their good brain health comes from their great gut health, because really those did very well for them.
So,
You did.
yes, thank you. Appreciate that. Glad I could have spent
Yeah.
the last 6 years
Nursing
feeding
younglings.
people with my body. Anyways, so we do the
Did you have Oregon? Grab the Oregon grape.
okay,
Okay.
all right.
But ion biome basically helps in improving the tight junctions
Yes.
between the cells of your GI system.
Great for
That's
people
the
that have
primary reason that
leaky
we
gut.
use that. And again, it's not something that is a have to, absolute, daily. None of these really for us are like, we have to have these or we're going to have problems.
Yes.
We don't deal with symptoms and things like that typically. So, I mean,
we have hours
we
that
have
we
some
take
of ours. I had
in
an
the morning.
unhealthy GI, I had IBS and all kinds of
But not for
problems
the
when I was
kids.
younger, much better now. But the kids, like, you know, again, it's about how you raise these kids up that makes a huge difference in their health, and they enjoy these things. But again, we let our kids get out and play in the dirt and eat some dirt and eat some berries right off.
They eat stuff straight out of the garden.
Yeah, so that gets them a lot of the beneficial bacteria and carbon molecules and fungus that is actually beneficial for the microbiome as well as the tight junctions of your GI.
Yeah.
Okay, next up for you.
Well, the next one up for me is the Wellzymes. They're chewable digestive enzymes. I actually have like a small little tin that I keep in my purse, and
especially if you're going to eat a vacation meal.
Yes, if you're going to eat vacation meals, like and go out to eat or something where you may not be getting the best quality of food.
As Patrick says, when you stumble, eat your food allergies. We take our Albizia.
When you get sassy and eat your food allergies.
Yes, she's sassy.
Hype.
I am too at times.
But these are great. They're chewable. Our kids love them. They kind of have like a cherry-ish flavor. So we have these. We keep these at home, but I also keep them in my purse. And the kids will ask for them whenever we're out. They're like, "Can we have our?" They call them vitamins. They have no idea. Vitamins.
Vitamin. But that's one thing that's like really cool about our situation with our kids, and we'd love to just, you know, implore parents to do the same, is that, you know, we use herbs and vitamins and things like that as their treat. Like literally they think this is like quote unquote healthy candy. They enjoy this stuff.
They get mad whenever like Magnolia will go up and she'll be like, "I want some vitamins," and she'll grab these, and it's like right before dinner, or not right before dinner, right before bed, and I'm like, "Honey, that's not a bedtime snack.
Yep.
It's for
food.
Like you eat these with food, honey." And she's like,
kids like dark
"But
chocolate.
I want it."
We do dark chocolate a lot of times for bedtime snacks.
Yeah, before they brush their teeth.
Yep. Oregon grape, I was really impressed by Magnolia. So Magnolia, our 4-year-old little girl, actually, I was wondering if she just wanted to impress mommy and daddy though.
I think she did.
Because she's like, took a sip, I'm like, "You're not gonna like this. You know, this is a digestive bitter, so it helps in stimulating gastric motility, so the digestive system's muscle contraction movement, get things moving through. It also stimulates the release of acid, saliva, and enzymes from your pancreas to start breaking things down. So it improves and it promotes healthy digestion. So this is a great herb for just about anybody to be doing. Now, because it does have berberine in it, they do say, and not that berberine's been found to be harmful when it crosses the placenta, but because it can, they say, like golden seal or Oregon grape should not be taken by pregnant mothers or nursing mothers. So just kind of throw that out there in case somebody's going to want to try and grab this. But again, any liquid herbs from Wellness Way, you've got to get either my doctor's code if you want to purchase them through the Wellness Way, and really we either do like a little teeny sip just to swish it around the mouth, hit that bitter taste bud effect, and then swallow it on down. So I usually go 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoons before meals with this, and we just give a little taste to our kids sometimes, and sometimes you just gotta say, just take it, you got to, and they do.
Yeah, but they don't always do this one. This one's not really like a...
That's more for adults, because again, it's extremely bitter, but it's bitter's better.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think our last one that is like, we got a few more that we're gonna go over, but our last one that the kids like really enjoy often is vitamin C. This is this is not the typical one that we have at home for the kids. This is more of like an adults. It's the vitamin C plus alkalizing minerals, and it doesn't really have a taste. So you can like
camo over there.
Yeah, I think so. So you could you could put this in like a smoothie for an adult or something like that, or put it in water.
Sorry.
God, Lord.
So this is what we use in smoothies. So Camo, it's probably the richest source of vitamin C. Now I would probably care to argue that maybe sumac, the red sumac may have higher amounts, but again, it's a harder berry to actually harvest the amount of powder. But Camo, fruit with highest concentrations of vitamin C that you can actually buy kind of in a bulk powder, and we carry these in the office as well. Those are great for smoothies, but they are kind of tart and sour.
Yeah.
So just straight away isn't necessarily what we use, but we mix that with like the vitamin C that has tapioca sugar in it, and so it has a sweet and has like that carbonated flavor taste to it.
That's kind of a lie. He's kind of lying right now.
Why?
We would mix that in smoothies, but we don't mix. I don't mix that. Okay, well maybe he does, but I don't.
I have for the kids, and as long as you don't put too much of it in, you don't ruin the flavor. Yeah, I'm the guy that's like, well, we'll add a little bit extra of this and make it even healthier, and the kids are like, yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, and then they don't drink it. Yeah, and then
Dad
gets
drinks
poured down the drain.
Doesn't I drink it?
Okay, well, all that to say, this is a lot. This is super beneficial, super great, but I definitely think this is better in like a smoothie form because you can kind of it is tart and it can be masked. And you can still make a delicious smoothie and them drink it, as opposed to mixing it with the vitamin C that they drink with straight water and them not drinking it at all, because that's not beneficial if they're not drinking it. So
that one's actually a mixture of C, a little bit, very minimal amounts of calcium, magnesium, potassium. So it's kind of a blend of minerals and vitamins. But the one with the kids in their water, it's kind of like their juice.
That's what they call it. That's what I was trying to get at. This is not what we feed, or not feed. This is not what we give the kids. We are just simply out of the one that we give the kids. But the one that we give the kids is called C Fizz, and it's a vitamin C. It's a little bit fizzy, a little bit effervescent. It tastes amazing, tastes like lemonade, and the kids call it their sea juice. And they're like, I want some sea juice, Mommy. And I'm like, cool, okay. And then sometimes, whenever they're mounting an immune response, and I want to give them echinacea, which is awful. And if you've never taken the
straight away echinacea from Wellness Way,
it's like your mouth. It's like a seizure. Like your tongue is having a seizure. It's your mouth. You start like salivating. Like your tongue is numb. It's amazing stuff.
That's when you know it's good.
Yes, that is how you know that it's good. If you were taking echinacea and your mouth doesn't feel like it's seizing, you ain't got the good stuff. Okay, but all that to say, I can hide the vitamin or the echinacea in their vitamin C water, and they don't even hardly notice it at all, which is amazing. It's a great way to get it in them.
Yep. And again, like we're not like everyday vitamin C is like that's don't have a fear of any malnutrition issues or anything like that. It's like their treat, and again, instead of giving treats that are unhealthy, our kids seek treats that they enhance their health. Yeah.
So this is not all. We're not saying all this to be like you should go buy all of this right now, and this is
what you need. No, it's like this is just part of lifestyle. Like
this is part of our lifestyle. This is the stuff that we have at home,
rather than waiting till we have to make up for lost time.
This is our medicine cabinet at home. Okay, so moving on. Let's talk about vitamin D really quick before we finish these last couple ones.
So we live on a farm, and a couple of Wellness Way docs were like, what do you give kids for vitamin D, since these are capsules? They're very, very tiny capsules. You can also break the capsules open, pour them into a smoothie or something else, and you give them to kids. And usually, because they are 5,000 IUs, I usually suggest, like, if you're giving them to little kids, then all they typically need is going to be maybe 5,000 every other day or every third day or somewhere in there. Again, we might do it periodically. Really, we hardly give it over the summer months because, like the doctor's chat was literally like, what do you give kids now that we don't have the chewable chocolate ones, which were nice, but they just, they weren't going. And they were more expensive, so it was one problem. Which they tasted good.
They did.
But
our kids loved them.
But our kids run around our farm basically naked at times.
Most of the time.
Playing on a slip and slide.
Yeah, I mean, All that to say,
Let 'em
like, we
get
live
out.
on 45 acres. We don't have creepers driving by our
Nope.
house, you know, like, we're in the middle of nowhere. And they're young, so they don't care.
Yep.
Like, they're purely innocent. And they literally say that. Like, I'll be like, Amos, dude, can you put a shirt on?
Get some vitamin
And
D, Mom.
He says, I want vitamin D in my belly, because they understand.
In my belly.
Yes, they understand that absorbing that's the best way
Yep.
to absorb it, is straight to the belly. I think it's what,
Yeah,
like,
the torso produces the majority.
yeah, exactly.
Arms, legs, eyes.
Because, well, like, your arms, those are places that you get sun all the time, so it's like they become,
Yep.
what's the word that I'm looking for? Like,
You
less is absorbed through those
Yeah.
areas. It's the places that don't see sun as much. So the kids love.
But our kids will be out in the sun and they don't burn.
No, they don't.
And you're more fair skinned. You burn easier
A
than
little bit.
I do.
Mhm,
Usually
yeah.
I tan within the first couple, summer days that I can get out in the sun, and then I can be out hours. And yeah, you can burn. So be careful about that. But
Obviously,
it's protective
being on the
clothing,
beach all day.
that type of thing. But really, God made our skin to tan so that we wouldn't then burn. But again, it's about progression up to the point where you can stay out for a long period of time.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, all that to say that there is that vitamin D option, and I think that they
Winter
are
months, it's good to make sure that you're filling that gap in. Sorry about interrupting.
always.
What is that movie? Interrupting. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting.
Interrupting who?
Interrupting. I don't know. There's some movie about
That
it.
was a bad
I just
joke.
swear. Yeah, it was. Because I can't remember exactly what they said.
I thought he was gonna.
Dang
You were
it.
gonna say like interrupting you, and I'm like, yeah, no kidding, you are.
You're supposed to interrupt her before she
Yeah.
finishes.
Yes, exactly. I was supposed to interrupt her.
Right,
Joke
but you
actually
didn't.
worked.
So.
Didn't do that. Didn't interrupt.
Okay,
I think it's interrupting
Go.
cow or
What'd you say?
something.
I was just gonna
Interrupting cow. That's right. Moo.
say. All right.
Moo. Interrupting cow. Okay, go.
Can I go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Moo.
Shoot.
Johnny and Jude. All right. So
I was just going to say that yes, we don't have the chewables anymore, but those little capsules are, a child could easily take them. Like Amos could easily take them. They are quite tiny.
yeah, Amos has taken some of our reishi and chaga.
Yes, but
Capsules, so.
and if that's not an option, you could put them in the smoothie. But again, that's not necessarily something that I think is necessary every single day. And for us, again, like you said, in the summer months, that's not really a thing for us because
Summer
our kids are
months.
just out in the sun so much, just outdoor, enjoying nature and
Yep.
getting their vitamin D
And
naturally.
that's where we should get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another way to get it is to sun your mushrooms.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Seriously?
No.
I never taught my wife this. I can't believe this. I mean, I did it. You would think the wild duck wife would just pick up on things.
Well, maybe.
You sun your mushrooms upside down. So once you harvest a mushroom, or even if you buy mushrooms from the store, you take your mushrooms home, you take kind of the stem off of the cap, you lay the cap upside down, you can even cut them in half, cut them, slice them thinly, lay them out on a tray, and sun your mushrooms. And within I forget whether there's a couple studies on it where the vitamin D that is available in mushrooms is 1,000 times more in certain mushrooms within a matter of 20, 30 minutes to an hour.
Oh wow. That's
So
amazing.
that's one of the sources, and I think to myself, wow, a lot more mushrooms are available throughout the fall months when vitamin D levels are starting to plummet. And if we were to do that and then dry our mushrooms and then rehydrate them and consume them in our diets, that's one of the things I think people need to do more of, is consume more medicinal and edible mushrooms. And that is your medicine, is your food. So
Cool.
yeah, sun your
I didn't
mushrooms.
know that.
Maybe we should make a t-shirt that says sun my mushrooms.
Yeah, that'd be cute.
Yeah,
Maybe.
cool. What's next, anything?
All right, so those are our main go-tos. We have just 3 more that we were gonna touch on, and these are more for certain
Yeah, we already-
things. So yeah, we talked about the astragalus.
Already talked about astragalus for just kind
Sorry,
of
so just 2 more.
the base, the foundation of the immune system. It's
Yeah.
where it helps feed and provide the bone marrow with the ability to produce more immune cells,
Yeah.
stem cells.
So another thing that we get asked often, or that we have parents mainly that contact us about, is concentration, and especially during school time. You know, like with kids not being able to concentrate at school. And
I did a video on
there's lots
passion
of-
flower because it's a native. It's actually Tennessee's wildflower. So it's our state wildflower. And passion flower was used in a controlled trial against medications, placebos, and parents said that it worked better, and it didn't have some of the negative psychological effects that parents would perceive and see in children who are given things like Adderall. So what's amazing is it is a nervine, so it helps in calming the nervous system down. It can get them out of that excitatory state. And what I tell parents is passion flower is more about a use when they're overexcited. Maybe you made a mistake and you stumbled and you fed them Skittles. You know, give them some passion flower with their Skittles. You know, obviously don't feed them Skittles. But the reality is, if they are in that hyperactive state and you need to calm them down for whatever reason, passion flower is a really good go-to. And it helps them concentrate and focus. It's, again, clinical trials in children with parents saying, this worked. My kids do better in school. They pay attention better. They're no longer that hyperactivity, ADHD state. So it works. It's been studied to work. No, we're not prescribing you to do that, because the FDA says we're not allowed. So, yeah, I don't know. But the reality is it's really good. So use it.
Yeah.
But work on why the kid is hyperactive.
Absolutely.
So that's what I was going towards. See, my ADHD kicked in there. Should have taken my passion flower. But if you don't eat right, if the child has a gut, has allergies, there's other physiological, there's even neurological causes from misalignment of the spine. I've seen children with ADHD resolve that issue with chiropractic care. I've seen them need food allergy testing and removing those food allergies, and their ADHD goes away. Again, some children, it's just, hey, this diet needs to change, and parents working to change into a healthy diet again. Then their children are no longer hyperactive and don't need medications, do better in school and everything like that. But in the meantime, while you're trying to work on your child's nutrition to get them to change their diet, then passion flower is something you can use. What I say is, in the meantime, while you focus on correcting the underlying physiological causes of that state your child's in, fix that, because that's the best thing you can possibly do.
Absolutely.
Is address the underlying factors causing the issue. Not even just take an herb and say, oh, the herb worked, because that's the functional medicine way of doing things.
You're still covering up a symptom.
Yeah, you're still treating a symptom, which is better than the drugs that can cause suicide. And
Right.
Big Pharma wants to, and my wife said, I'm not allowed to talk about that.
Anyway, so yes, using this in place of a prescription is still not our end goal for you guys, because you're still just trying to treat and cover up a symptom, and we would rather you get to the root cause and actually fix those issues and not need this. You know what I mean? And
so do the proper testing.
Yeah.
Do the proper lifestyle modification. Get your kids proper amounts of exercise and outdoor and play. Boys and girls, these little kids need to play a lot. They need to play when they're young way more than they need to sit there and study a book.
Oh.
They have shown time and time again, with countries that have the least amount of reading and studying time, homework time, almost no homework at all, some countries, less days at school, and more play time, the kids get better grades and they're smarter, more intelligent, they do better, they memorize better, they spell, all these things, because learning and memory centers of our brain actually develop from neurological, from electrical energy stimulation through movement. And if they're not playing and they're sitting in a classroom, they are not getting that neurological stimulation through movement of their body and joints that allow their brains to develop as well, to be able to remember what you're trying to make them read over and over and over and over again. That's not how neural pathways are developed. Neural pathways are developed early on in life through play and activity and movement and experience.
Well, and that's why, we're homeschool parents, but like I always say, like they learn just as much through playing than they do from me.
Something I've helped a lot of parents, because there are going to be parents that probably won't watch this and they're going to say, well, we don't have that opportunity, that option to be able to homeschool for
Right,
jobs,
well,
single moms, stuff like that.
No,
What
of
I
course.
tell, get a trampoline.
Yeah.
Get an activity that they can play. Almost like I tell parents, like, go outside, and if they got problems spelling, work with them on their spelling as you're tossing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Kicking a soccer ball back and forth while you're doing jumping jacks. You make them cognitively think as they're playing, or you make them do an activity, a physical activity, running around the house, cross crawl exercises, things like that help the movement, development of neural pathways, and then you help them briefly learn what they need to learn.
Yeah.
But you get the movement integrated into that process.
We have bean bags in our like upstairs, like our schoolroom, that sometimes like we'll toss back and forth as we're trying to like learn letters and things like that. So, but that could obviously be as your schooling gets a little bit more vigorous, even if they're in traditional school, and you're just working with them at home. But then also like coming home from school and making sure that they're not just like coming home and going straight to watch TV or playing video games or stuff like that. Not that, I mean, obviously we minimize screen time, but I know that there's a time and place and people need to utilize them in certain situations, and that's fine. But just minimizing that and
our kids get to watch like Coyote Peterson. I like him.
Okay.
The guy who always gets stung, as my boy says.
You are literally
Check
such
questions. I know. It's my secret power.
Okay, well, let's go over the last one, and then I'll check
questions.
Why don't you guys tell them to ask any questions?
Oh,
Ask
yeah. If y'all have any questions, drop them. And after we go after we go over this last one, we will answer some questions. And to piggyback on that, we're going to start doing like a Q&A on Thursdays. So we'll start putting some stuff in our stories, and kind of talking about, or just saying like, hey, what do you guys want to talk about? And because we're here for you guys, and we want to help you in any way that we can.
Yeah.
So moving on to our very last thing that we use in our home at the end of the day. How fitting for it to be the last thing.
Yeah.
But we use the forest folk fungi. They're called Dreamtime drops.
Yep. We
don't use melatonin in our house.
So reishi, hemlock reishi, passion flower, hops, catnip, and skullcap. So all things that are going to be, one, immune, more the reishi, adaptogenic properties, but really the passion flower, hops, catnip, skullcap are going to be things that help calm the immune, or calm the nervous system down. So it helps the child or individual who takes this to help them calm down at the end of the day and rest more peacefully and have a deeper sleep. Gets them out of that fight or flight. Passion flower definitely helps lower that sympathetic tone in our nervous system. It's a nervine that helps us go into restful, deep recovery and recuperation type sleep. So we want our kids to get the best sleep so they grow healthy, they develop healthy, they can learn, they can absorb, and their brain can develop those neural pathways throughout the day. All these little things. So it's just one little thing, an icing on the cake again, without giving them cake.
Because that would excite them.
Yeah.
That's not what we want at the end of the day.
Dream drops.
And we don't always, again, as with all of these supplements, it's not really something that we use.
There's not one thing that it's like we have to get them every single day. No.
But it is helpful for teething babies.
We have the foundation. We have their nutrition, their chiropractic care, their fun and play, their natural exposure for the things that the body needs to develop, like vitamin D. And then we have traded out the bad treats. We just never were, but they don't get those treats. If we go out, like the banks and different places where most of the time if you bring your kid with you, they want to offer you a sucker or something like that. Our kids will literally be like, no thanks, that's poison. And then they insult the banker, and then we have to explain why we don't call, or at church, and they're like, your kids are telling the other kids they're eating poison. And we're like, we're sorry, but your kid is actually eating poison. So we're at church, they're allowed to be honest. That's what I like to try and do, but then my wife says, it's rude, don't do it.
Yeah, it's rude. But no, there was this one time that we walked into a health food store here in Clarksville, which ended up shutting down, and that was really a bummer
Yeah.
because they offered some amazing things. But it was kind of like a Whole Foods, but like on a much smaller scale. And we walked in, and they always saw me bringing the kids with me, and they wanted to give them a treat. And so they asked them if they wanted a sucker. And luckily they were like organic, like the Yummy Earth suckers or whatever the healthy suckers are. And Amos just looks at the girl, and he goes, are those organic? And I was
If it's
mortified.
organic, I might get my.
Mortified. But
Was
she
like,
was like,
"That's awesome."
yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. And I was like, well, good for you, buddy. But
I always say use
just
our
ask
children.
Mommy. Just ask Mommy next time.
I'm like, babe, but our children are innocent, and people can't judge them for being honest.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like a kid staring at somebody. It's okay. Kids get to do that. If I stare at somebody, I'm a creeper. If I stare at my wife, I'm called a creeper at times.
Well, yes, true. You feel a little creepy too. But no.
It's not your normal responses. We need to be on camera more. That'd be weird.
I'm a typical Enneagram 9. If any of you follow the Enneagram, so I don't really like to rock the boat. So that's where it makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Occasionally, I like to capsize it.
Yeah, he does. He's a challenger. So there's that.
So use your kids to challenge other people
Yin and
to
yang.
eat better and feed their kids better, and
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we got any questions here. I don't. Have you seen any?
I haven't seen any come through.
I don't think that I have either. I've tried to look briefly. Programming kids that the peels are not good, like grapefruit and oranges. Well, I don't really think that they would like the peels anyway.
But I mean, honestly, like Ren and some of our kids, like they will just bite into organic or oranges and even grapefruit and things like that. Like they're learning to use like the butter knife to cut those fruits, the citrus fruits. But the reality is, like my kids will actually chew on that, and that's fine. Those oils in the skin of that citrus is actually good, really beneficial. So our kids will chew it up sometimes, and like Ren for a long time was eating those little oranges like they were an apple.
Yeah.
Peeling it up.
She would bite into it to open it, and then she would
Devour the inside and some of the peeling.
Yeah, she would kind of tear it from there. But
no other questions?
No, there wasn't any
Okay.
questions.
It must have been thorough, or just nobody really cared.
One of the two.
Oh, something.
Oh, something came through?
Yep.
What is it?
Do I have it on mine?
You see
Is it weird that Apples calls all of my kids to get diarrhea and gas anytime they eat apples? Would that be different with organic? Well, I would. I will let him talk about the diarrhea and gas, but I would say always apples are one thing. Well, shoot.
That is.
I mean,
That is definitely weird and odd, and the fact that it goes across all family members, maybe an intolerance and allergy there, because that's really unique. I mean, I would almost go there first. But apples shouldn't aggravate a parasitic infection or anything like that. If anything, it should help. And then sometimes you gotta say, I guess I would say, I'd want to know what else are the children being fed on a consistent basis that isn't causing diarrhea, and if an apple is like or healthy fruits, and most of our followers they live fairly healthy lifestyle. Their kids eat really healthy typically and things like that. Maybe you're transitioning into this lifestyle. Maybe they're not there yet. What can happen sometimes is if your kids are used to eating more unhealthy items, and then you introduce a healthy item, their bowels will change because the microbiome, the gut bacteria that is there and necessary to dissolve or break this down and for their bodies to absorb it, it's not used to that, so it can cause some initial disturbance there at times.
So she said it hasn't changed with age. They're 14, 10, and 4, started from 1 year.
Wow.
So I would say food allergy testing would be my go-to to see if that's an issue there, because that is a unique thing. And then from there, I would say start there because it's pretty easy to apply that information,
Yeah.
you know, on your own, and then from thereafter, stool testing. Like, let's figure out if there is something going on there with their GI.
For sure. And I think that is it.
Because I've never heard of like a genetic condition or anything like that that would
No.
make diarrhea in apples. That's a unique.
I mean, I would suggest doing organic anyways, just because
Yeah.
pesticide. I'm pretty sure apples
Apples
are
are
always
on
on the dirty dozen.
They're on the dirty dozen.
So that's something that I would always. And the dirty dozen, for those of you that don't know, it typically changes from year to year.
A little bit.
Like
There's
most
usually
of them are usually always there's probably
your
I would
berries, your apples,
8 to
a lot of times
10
your
that are
peaches
always
and
on
things
there.
like that.
say, but some of them depending on the year change on the dirty dozen. So every year I would totally encourage you guys to go on and see what the dirty dozen and the clean 15 are for that year, just to make sure that if you can't purchase organic for everything, which I would encourage anyways, you could at least do
Local
those things.
and knowing the farmer,
Yeah.
knowing the person
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
harvesting, trusting in them, always that go-to first. From there, then it's organic, support organic farmers. From then after the dirty dozen, clean 15, enabling you to kind of like budget a little bit better on what are the things that are best to go organic on because of high pesticides and chemical spray loads. So that would be like the dirty dozen. You eliminate those and you buy organic on those. Organic on your animal products first is always the biggest
Absolutely.
bang for your buck.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, totally. And a lot of times if you reach out to your local farmers, some of them may not be certified organic yet because
but they may follow the same practices,
yeah.
and the reality is
there's
There
a
can-
lot of hoops that they have to jump
Yeah.
through to
You know,
become an organic farmer.
organic can use certain types of things that are allowable that may not be even the best for us to ingest. Certain things like sprays and stuff like that to keep the ripeness and things that aren't sprayed.
Right.
So organic is better, but it's still not as good as if we could actually be able to raise and grow our own foods, which would be amazing for everybody. But the reality is knowing your farmer, supporting your local farmer, knowing that they can actually grow healthier and cleaner food, you know, and not be certified organic. So they don't have to be certified. We're paying somebody and we still hope that the farmer is honest.
Right.
But if you can get to know the farmer and you know they're honest and you know them very well, that's what I want people to support the most.
Yeah, absolutely. Support local for sure.
Anything else real quick?
No,
I don't think
that's
there's
it
any
as
other
far as like
questions.
questions. There's some things that someone's wanting us to check out, but not as far as questions go. I
Cool.
think that's it. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, folks.
Absolutely.
Hopefully this is beneficial.
Yes.
Keep
Have
your
a
kids
good-
healthy.
Yes.
Keep them honest.
Yeah.
And keep them
I'm not sure where he's going with this.
making other people change their lifestyle. Use them as the tools to insult people in the right direction. Like telling their kids that they're eating poison.
Wow.
Hey,
Okay.
our kids have a lot of potential to change this world. And that's how I'm going to use them.
In a loving way.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Love you, babe.
Love you. We'll talk
Love
soon.
you.
Bye.
See ya.